Now that we're comfortable understanding the axes of a graph, we're ready to start reading particular points on a graph. Every point on a graph we can write as a pair of an x and y coordinate. So we'll write x, comma, y, and we usually find them in these round brackets here. So for this graph below, we could write the x-y pair for this first point here. Let's start with the x-coordinate since it comes first. So we read down to the x-axis and we see that the x value is 1. And the y value we read across to the y-axis and its y value is 5. So we can write the coordinates as 1, 5. Let's do the same for the second point. Again, we'll read down, see that the x value is 4 for that point, and then read across to the height or the y value, which is 2. So we can also take a point that we're told and put it on a graph. Because we're told x, y pairs, for point A, we go to the spot where x is equal to 6, so there's 6 on the x-axis, and y is equal to 2. So from 6, we go up to the y value of 2, and there's my point A. Let's do the same for point B. This time we're told that the x value is 0 and the y value is 3. So where the x value is 0 is right here at the very beginning. And then we go up to the point 3. And that's point B. So that's the y value is equal to 3. So for real graphs, we have to account for the axis scale, because each tick isn't going to be worth 1 of whatever is on the graph. So what are the coordinates of the point below, and include the units? So we're going to write the x, y pair for this point. And so the first thing we're going to do is read down to the x-axis and get that x value, and we see that it's 40,000. Mileage is probably being measured in miles, so we have to make an assumption that it's 40,000 miles. And the y value we get from reading across is 8,000 and $8,000. And we can put brackets around that to complete the coordinates. But what we're going to find is that for especially more complex graphs, the points don't fall perfectly on the grid, which means that we might have to estimate x or y values. And so you'll often be told to estimate in a situation, but sometimes you'll just have to assume that an estimate is the best you can do. So what is the moose population in 1988? Well, what are they telling us about 1988? They're telling us an x value. So on the x-axis, we can go find 1987. The next tick must be 1988. And then we read up vertically until we find the graph, or the line, and then we're going to read across to get the y value. This should give us the moose population in 1988. But we can't do this perfectly because these points don't fall perfectly on the grid lines. So what is the moose population? It's about, well, it's halfway between 110,000 and 120,000. So it would be 115,000 moose, or mooses.